This video was not filmed in 2019. Jamie Oliver's went bust early in the year, and yet early in 2020 he went bust, and yet despite the fact that we are now in October 2020 and we're in the second biggest airport in the UK, Gatwick Airport, Jamie Oliver's restaurant is still here. Why is it still here? Well, our leaders allowed the economy to go bust. Our leaders have basically destroyed the economy on the pretense of this: we must protect the population from a virus that basically has a 99.9% success rate from not dying.
I like those odds.
So what's this all about? Well, if you're a reader of any of my blogs, you'll know that I think this whole thing is completely planned. It's a complete scam. And our global leaders, who are led by shadowy figures, and I'm not talking about shadow people, I'm not talking about Illuminati, I'm not talking about any of these people. I'm talking about shadow controllers, puppeteers who control our government leaders. Our leaders are puppets to this situation. This is Gatwick Airport. This is the South Terminal. It's completely shut. Completely shut. This is the North Terminal, and this is peak time. This is about 6 p.m. on a Thursday, and there's nobody about. Downstairs is a sparse amount of people. Upstairs we have Warren's Bakery shut. Pure is open, Wagamama is open, Pret is open, but Jamie Oliver's shut. There's another place shut over there. The whole economy has been decimated, not because of the virus, but because your leaders have decided to destroy the global economy. And why have they done that? Well, it's basically to make the population submit, to make the population beg for when the vaccine does come along. You're going to be all screaming out saying, please give me my digital passport that basically allows me to go into shops, theatres, restaurants. And this is what they're after. It's a tracking device, it's an ability to catalogue a population. With the vaccine, you'll have a blood test. With that blood test, they will catalogue everyone's DNA on the planet. Some might say that's a good thing, some might say that's a bad thing, but it's very, very sinister what they're up to. They're trying to implement a Hunger Games society. They don't want populations traveling like they have been accustomed to for the last few decades. They want populations living in fear, completely under the control and completely dependent on their masters. They want to implement a universal income. Now, if you implement a universal income, you get the population to submit to your whims. How do you do that? Well, for example, the jab that's going to come along, the vaccine, it will be no jab, no pay. And this is what's happening. Destroy the economies around the world. This is October 2020, and Gatwick is still dead. We're probably going to go into lockdown 2 come November. That's my prediction. November, we're going to have lockdown 2. And anytime anyone speaks about this, they get censored. This is very, very telling. The whole thing makes me incredibly angry. The place over here, Wagamama's, doesn't accept cash. Why do they want a cashless society? If you have a cashless society, you can control the population. You can control every transaction. You can monitor them. You can shut down dissidents' bank accounts. And this is what happens. We have entire businesses. Normal circumstances, a business would go bust. Within a few weeks, in a place like this, with the footfall that you'd normally get in Gatwick Airport, this would have been replaced months and months ago. But this is completely empty. And nothing is working. We go downstairs, most of the businesses are locked up.
You're not accepting any more cash. You can pay by debit card, credit card, or you can pay online. If you pay online, all you have to do is scan the QR code on the thing. You need to do no vegan.
So just heard that Wagamama is not accepting any cash. It's very, very telling. They want a cashless society. They want a cashless society. So like I say, the South Terminal was completely shut and the North Terminal was barely open when I travelled in October 2020. Apologies for the slight delay in this video. I can't always get my content out within days. However, I wanted to post this video just so you could see how they've decimated a major airport in the UK. This is the second biggest airport in London. like I say, this is about 6 p.m. on a Thursday. Usual days back in 2019, early 2020, you wouldn't be able to move around here. Today, it's like a ghost town still. I mean, it's nice that there's still some people here, but it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I know that there are many subscribers of mine that have a real belief that we are living in a time where there's a dangerous virus. But I do not think our leaders or anyone should have the right to decide if we should continue with life or shut down life. You can see the mega corporations are still surviving, but the smaller places have been decimated. A lot of high streets have actually been more decimated than Gatwick Airport. However, the emptiness is telling. And for those that do believe in this pandemic, do you not think the measures are disproportionate? At least you can still get a beer. So here I am on my way to the Wetherspoons in Gatwick Airport because this is where I decided that I'd meet my friends. We're off on a trip together. The next video you'll see that trip, but in this video I just want to focus on how absurd airports have now become. Those restaurants that now remain are now forcing people to download an NHS app, a track and trace app. This is happening all over the world so populations can be tracked and traced. And it's not just to track the virus, I can tell you that now. Soon they will have your DNA, soon they will know where you are at all times, and soon you will have to ask permission to go wherever you want. See, my belief is the reason they want to sort of segment the population, it's a way of, if you do this, if you instill this across the global population, you effectively stop people meeting each other and you slow down the rate of population growth. You suddenly don't have these chance interactions across tables because you simply can't get to other tables. People aren't allowed to interact by standing up, going to other tables. Clubs are all closed. The usual means that people had in the West for interacting with people, strangers, are gone. So, and this is happening across all of the West, not just England. People are being separated. You're losing your identity. And here we go, look, the entrance would normally be here, but they want you to basically, they want you to go through the rat maze to get to the Wetherspoons. It's quite ridiculous, really. And I'm sure this is where they demand that you install some ridiculous app, take down your details, but let's see. And I was right, it was exactly this point where every individual entering the pub, Wetherspoons is actually the biggest pub chain in the United Kingdom. People are giving the hostess their details. They're also scanning a QR code, so they're checking in with their phones. And this was happening pre-lockdown too. So ever since the UK came out of the first lockdown, there's been this NHS tracing app where people have downloaded this tracking software onto their phones, and then they are literally walking up to the restaurant door like complete sheep and scanning the QR code. I have to say, I've never done this and I will never do this. And I know there's going to be people listening to this thinking, what a-hole, but I have absolutely no interest in allowing the government to know where I am at all times. We shouldn't be living in fear of the government, ever. But this is what we have become. People are not questioning this authoritarian world that we are now living in. The lady asked me if I had a phone to download the app. I said, no, I only have an old dial-up phone. That confused her, I have to say. And she also said that they would prefer not to take cash. I said, no, I will be paying in cash. Yes, she's only trying to do her job. She's doing what the management have told her, and the management are only following this because they don't want to be fined by the government. But these measures are ridiculous and people need to resist. Anyway, if you like this content, click subscribe, and I will see you in the next video where I head to another country this time. My videos are always along the lines of travel, politics, or just generally having a little bit of a rant like this. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching.